There's a lot of things that I can say about poker. One thing I know for sure is I don't want to play poker against Jason Koon. This guy is insanely good, and that's probably why he's in this 2,000, 4,000 cash game. It's 2,000, 4,000 euro, by the way, so it's like 2,500, 5K American dollar cash game. This is the biggest cash game that's ever been televised, and the pots get huge. It's insane, and this pot that we're about to show you is pretty interesting.
It's cool for lots of reasons. Now, not only are the blinds big, but these guys are pretty deep. Everyone has like $1 million in front of them, give or take. Of course, it's in euro, but still, holy moly. Now, the main opponent in this hand is Kane Kalas, who is sort of an online superstar type dude, to the point where he is now playing this game as well. He's not a whale, he's not a fish, he is legit. This is going to be an interesting hand.
And that's probably why it was suggested. Wow, that was some word salad there. Suggested by Jay, Matt Dorfman, and Max Sawyer. If you have a suggestion, tweet at us, include a YouTube link.
Yes. Now, before we get to the hand, we do have to keep the lights on and give a nod to our sponsors. That's Nitrogen Sports Poker, where we play and we have a great tournament at the end of every single month. Costs almost nothing to play, and there's a huge, huge guarantee.
Basically, the guarantee is 1,000 times the buy-in, and the most players we've ever gotten is 73. So do a little math. I mean, get in the tournament, you have to, but in order to do that, you have to use the link in the description of this video, or else get out of here.
We don't even want to see your face.
Nitrogen has a lot of other great stuff you can do, sports betting, other casino games. It's a really good poker site. Just check it out. Use the link. Now let's get to the hand.
All right, so Jason Koon opened to 11,000. This is not a straddle pot, just 2,000, 4,000 with a 4,000 ante. Kane Kalas is going to squeeze with pocket tens right now to 55,000. It's kind of like the first pot. He's 3-bet. Jason Koon with ace queen might feel this is a tighter range, but might still feel a little obligated to see a flop.
You look funny on TV. Up to you. Okay.
The Chinese like funny faces.
Okay. Oh shit, I'll do the same then.
So he is gonna actually 4-bet here to 120,000. His read is that Kalas is just gonna play very straightforward. So this is Kane's first 3-bet. He's been 4-bet.
Jeju, 23rd of July, okay? Make sure you're in Jeju. I
don't need a visa, do I?
So I think Kane's gonna try and see a flop.
Basically, gonna have 2 million.
120,000 euros each in there.
No limit buy-in and maybe one.
That's the cool thing about Jeju. It has
Flop
visa
is 653
30-day
rainbow.
visa on arrival for Chinese. Where the rest of South Korea, you gotta apply for the visa. And Macau has 7-day visa. But so this is why Jeju's it's closer than Macau to Shanghai.
Hey Tom, is Jeju better than Manila? Really?
It's better than Manila by like safety-wise.
Yeah.
Safer, I'm sure. Yeah.
Jeju, we get all
I mean, I don't even know about this like Jeju or something, but Manila is definitely like on the bottom of any rating. So.
You see the shit that just happened there?
So 128,000 from Jason Koon.
And, you know, like,
Can't imagine Kalas doing anything but calling.
Philippines. Really big problem. The head of the Supreme Court, they were pushing out, which was like the end
I remember we had a Tritons there, and like a week after or something, there was some shooting in casinos and stuff. Like.
Yeah.
But then they were like appealing, so I don't know if the Chief Justice lady's gonna get back in. But
well, Manila, Philippines. Yeah.
All right, so he's going to go for calling chips.
Nice, huh? Like the weather,
especially is
safety.
so nice.
If there's a problem, you don't go. And
Here comes a turn. Koon has 24% chance to win the spot. Looking for an ace or a queen. The turn's a 10, so top set for Kalas. He's got a 100% chance to win here. He should just keep checking, trying to let Koon barrel him off of a pair, I suppose.
You're making this Jeju place sound really like someplace I don't want to go.
No, it's alright. It's fine. It's like, I mean, it's not.
You buy another condo, villa.
See how this game goes.
I bought 2 villas.
Yeah?
2 big villas, 8 smaller villas.
I think
I can give you one.
Koon's got to be careful that Kane has like pocket jacks or pocket queens a lot, and I really don't think he's going to fold those hands. He actually has top set.
You know, like Disneyland.
Oh, you mean the Janu ones?
Yeah, within the property.
Oh,
They're very nice.
by a condo.
Okay.
Jeju.
Jeju Shinhwa.
Oh, okay.
SHINHWA.
Yeah. Is it as
Jeju
expensive?
Shinhwa.
Is it as expensive as the one here?
More. No.
Imagine it sounds cheaper. Oh. Not much
Jason
money.
Koon betting 160,000.
Beautiful, right? Or like
Huh?
Macau.
I feel like
See,
he's
I bought the villa like for
betting like this to shove the river. That's a blank. Trying to represent aces and
50
kings.
million US last year. This year I sold it for 18 million.
Oh, already? Nice.
We sold one. We have two. So
I didn't know that. The project's doing good.
Chinese guy want to buy it.
So Kane calls again.
Then he like the place.
I don't really think Koon expected Kane to fold the turn too much. So I hope Koon has a plan. 839,000 euros in there. I think people are being a little bit more quiet now that this pot's getting bigger.
I'm going to spew a technical term at you guys, so I'm sorry if it's over your head, but this turn card is known as unlucky for Jason Koon. It's a very unlucky turn card where Kane Kalas makes a set. It's effectively the nuts because Jason Koon basically never has a straight. He's jumping up and down. He's really happy. Jason Koon makes interesting decisions throughout this hand, and especially on the river. We're going to get to that. But first, let's talk about pre-flop because he decides to 4-bet, which is slightly unconventional with this hand.
Yeah, this is the kind of hand that a lot of players, I would say most players, most of the time are going to flat once the big blind decides to 3-bet. You're going to get to be in position. You got a really good hand that flops well, and you don't have to bloat this pot anymore because look at the trouble Jason Koon is getting himself in by deciding to 4-bet, right? The decision to 4-bet means he's going to c-bet a lot of flops and he's going to continue clearly on a lot of turns even when he misses, which is going to commit him to a lot of rivers also even when he misses there. This is problematic.
That said, the 4-bet gives Jason Koon a much bigger chance to win the hand than if he just flats. He's going to win this hand so frequently if this 10 doesn't hit the turn. If it's just another low card, he might not win on the turn, but he's often going to win on the river if Kalas doesn't improve. Kane Kalas is super lucky this 10 hit because I think Jason Koon was a huge favorite to win this hand throughout the hand until that 10 came, right, Jonathan?
Assuming he decides to barrel the river.
Which, it's Jason Koon. He's probably going to, right? I mean, he has a plan. He understands what he's doing. He knows Kane Kalas is captain. He's not really in this spot unless Kalas has a set, which is tough because he 3-bet pre-flop. He usually doesn't have a set of sixes or something like that.
I mean, I hear what you're saying. At the same point, Koon's going to be somewhat balanced on the river, too. He's not just going to take all of his misses and shove the river, I don't believe, for €500,000. And ace-queen may be a little too high up in his distribution where he may decide to check it back versus some of the hands that have truly no showdown value.
I mean,
although
he doesn't have
practically-
any showdown value
of course,
against Kane Kalas'
practically
range.
he doesn't, but I don't think he's going to shove 100% of his bluffs on the river either.
Probably not. It depends on how many bluffs he shows up with and how much value he shows up with. If he doesn't have that many bluffs, he can shove 100% of his bluffs because he's super value heavy with this line. So
Right.
that's a possibility.
But he clearly has a lot of bluffs.
He clearly has a lot of bluffs. All I'm saying is this is very unlucky and
Yes.
that Jason Koon was very likely to win the hand had it not happened when the 10 hits the turn, right?
No question.
So Kane Kalas decides to just call the turn. Are you okay with that? You think that's good?
I think it's fine, and here's why. Koon either has a miss like he has, and there's no more money to be made by raising, or he's got an overpair, and Koon is the kind of guy who likes to go for thin value on the
Yeah.
river. We've seen it before in a hand against John Duthie, where he had ace-king and shoved over Duthie's lead out on the river when it was a little bit of a scary board, and Koon just went for strong value. Incorrectly there, as it turns out. But still, he's the kind of guy who's going to do that. He's going to squeeze a little bit. So I like Kane Kalas deciding to call and letting Koon bomb the river. Koon's going to just have to move in a lot on the river with all his overpairs, assuming a safe card comes on the turn. So I really like it.
And of course, some of his bluffs. I mean, he might
Right.
be putting Kalas on 2 jacks and saying, you can't really call when I shove the river, right? Like, I have so many more aces and kings in my range than you, so what are you going to do, Kane Kalas? So I do like to just call because Koon obviously has bluffs in his range.
Yes.
River's an ace. That is a bad card for Jason Koon. He might think he can value shove this hand. Kane is loving this card because this is a good river card to bluff at. Also, Koon might actually have ace king or ace queen.
No, I don't think. I think Jason. Not sure. But
Kane should check, feign weakness. Try to make it look like you have jacks or queens that is scared of the ace. So Jason Koon shoves all in, and Kane Kalas, he played one pot, but he just won 920,000 euros, 131,000 euros.
Oops. That was a bit of an oopsie by Jason Koon. We don't need to talk much about Kane Kalas' decisions here. They seem pretty clear and obvious. The ace is a bit of a scary card because obviously Koon has a set of aces in his range. As Kane Kalas, we don't really want to see any paint card at all because then we can be beat. But you know what? It doesn't matter. We just have to call, close our eyes. It's fine. Should Jason Koon be shoving here? This is clearly for value, by the way. It's not a bluff.
Yeah, it's clearly for value. And to be clear, Kane Kalas doesn't love the ace, both because it makes a set of aces and also means a hand like queens is going to check back. Now,
a lot of the time, yeah.
A lot more of the time, which is too bad. But if you bet, he's probably going to fold queens anyway.
Right.
So I like how Kane Kalas played it. Okay. This is definitely for value as Jason Koon, although it's a weird shove in that it's potentially for value, not really expecting to get called very often, where he may feel like he just has to balance out the amount of bluffs he's going to have on this river if he's got suited connectors. He basically has to have hands like Jack-10 suited, or maybe not Jack-10, sorry, 8-9 suited, 7-8 suited, Queen-Jack suited, things like that he's going to 4-bet pre and take to the river and shove the river with for this to be a reasonable play, I think, for him to shove ace-queen also. So we balance it against Kane Kalas, and Kane Kalas then doesn't know what to do with a hand like 2 jacks rather than find an easy fold or an easy call.
Right, and so it's more of a holistic strategy about his entire cash game life he's playing against these other players. That's kind of scary in a spot where you've bought in for like $1 billion, though, and it's, you know, we like to say balance is good over time and all these things, but this is a 2K, 4K game. I mean, it's tough to employ that balance, and I applaud Jason Koon for actually following through with that. Now, in practice, I guess he's just hoping to get heroed by queens or jacks because 9s, 8s, if they're even there pre-flop, are probably going to drop off on the turn and especially drop off on the river at this point.
Yeah.
So there's not much to get value from because Kalas has 0 aces in his range, by the way.
This seems all correct what Grant's saying. It is important to remember, though, when we're talking about balance, this is a different situation than most cash game spots where this is being streamed live out to the world. Jason Koon knows everyone's going to see this hand. Kane Kalas is going to know what he had. Everyone in the super high roller community is going to know what he had. So the balance here actually matters more than it matters in most other spots. So he wants to be able to say, yeah, when I take this line and ace comes on the river, I can really have ace queen, guys, and I can shove it. So you can't just call with 2 jacks here in the future because we are going to be in this spot some more.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be in this spot in a 2K, 4K game that often. Maybe not, but that doesn't matter because Jason Koon is following through with his overall balance. Along with that, this is pretty high in his distribution.
Yes.
He generally doesn't have a flopped set having 4-bet pre-flop. He can have a set of 10s himself, but he clearly doesn't here. He can have a set of aces himself, and he can have ace-king. And then it's ace-queen, right? There's not really anything else above that, so it's pretty high up in our distribution. That's another reason to shove.
Another reason not to shove is this unbelievably crestfallen look that Jason Koon has the moment and the instant Kane Kalas says call, because of course Kane Kalas knows he's never folding and instant calls with the second, well, effectively the second nuts anyway.
And you might be thinking that means Jason Koon was bluffing. Look at his face after he gets called. No, it's because of the snap call. He wants Kane Kalas to tank, and then Koon's like, oh, I got him. Try to look nervous. You know, that's what would happen in that scenario. Instead, when the snap call happens, he's like, oh, this guy has a set every time.
I mean, the moment Kane Kalas, if Kane Kalas takes 4 seconds, Koon knows he's good, and then it's just a question of, am I going to get lucky and get value? If not, it's a balance thing, and everyone gets to see it. The snap call means you're just always beaten. Koon knows that. When you shove €500,000, you're always beat.
And that's the face of a guy who just lost, at the time, the biggest pot in televised poker history.
Luckily for him, he would win the biggest pot in televised poker history like 4 hands later. So, you know, when I first saw this hand, I actually really didn't like the shove by Jason Koon.
I remember this.
Because I thought, what in the world can we ever get called by? And it was a real concern of mine. As we talked it through, and we did this both on our podcast and here, I feel like I understand what he's doing much more, and he feels like he just has to be balanced here because the metagame really matters too, right? There's so many more hands that are going to take place, and everyone's watching this game. Everyone sees what he has. Everyone needs to understand what he's shoving with and what he isn't on the river. Otherwise, he's just not going to be effective in the future and make as much money in the future. So that's my thought. But what did you guys think? Do you like this shove by Jason Koon? Do you have other reasons for liking it or disliking it? What do you think about the 4-bet pre-flop, by the way? What do you think about Kane Kalas deciding to slow play this puppy all the way down and having it work out so well? Reminiscent, by the way, of Johnny Chan against Eric Seidel.
Yeah,
Who can
except
ever
the
forget?
visor. Jason Koon's wearing the same visor as Eric Seidel.
How quickly he turns the hand over?
Yeah, it's just like that.
Let us know in the comments what you think about all these plays and our thoughts on them. We're really looking forward to seeing what you have to say.
Jonathan mentioned a John Duthie, Jason Koon hand that we did earlier that had a similar result with Jason Koon seemingly overvaluing a hand, but it might have been the right play anyway. It's a really interesting hand throughout. Even though you know the result now, it's worth watching. You should check it out. It's right up here.
Yep, and if you want to hear how we came to all these decisions about this hand, we spent a good, 55 minutes talking about it, getting super deep, arguing, debating, is this a good river shove or not? Should he be 4-betting pre or not? What should Kane Kalas be doing when he actually makes a set on the turn? So on and so forth. We get into all the decisions on our podcast, The Breakdown presented by the Poker Guys. It's available on your favorite podcast app, of course.
You should definitely check that out, and also make sure you subscribe to this video if you enjoyed it. I mean, this YouTube channel.
If you enjoyed it.
All the stuff that I'm supposed to say. Pretend I said it.
If you enjoyed it.